Welcome to another Instagram Live with Alt.Latino and NPR. I'm Felix Contreras, the host of NPR Music's podcast, Alt.Latino. We're doing these live interviews during Heritage Month to spotlight the contributions of Latino culture and music. And this week, we're going to switch to another art form, acting. And specifically, we're talking about acting for the small screen. We'll talk to two actors from two very excellent Netflix features and series. But first, I want to remind you of a couple of things before we talk, okay? A couple of things. Do some housekeeping. We want to remind you of the Tiny Desk takeover we call El Tiny. If you haven't seen any so far, we've had amazing performances from people like Prince Royce, J Belvin, also Alt-Latino favorites, and Alfonso Silvana Estrada. 10 total altogether. And coming up, Sech, Yendri, Nikki Nicole, and Camila Cabello, okay? Check that out. Oh, hi. Hi, Tio Felix. Also, check out the Alt-Latino podcast. We recently featured a show with two Latina literary icons, Sandra Cisneros and Isabel Allende. Lots of fun, very interesting, mad respect for them because they have each achieved major status in literature, not just as Latinas, but as writers in general. So check out that show. And then this week we have a show coming to you from the border. 3 compelling stories, things you wouldn't normally think about to come from the border. That's coming up on the podcast. Don't forget to check that out. We're going to do some more series of more Instagram live interviews that we're doing here. We've got reels. We got all kinds of stuff. So lots of ways to engage and stay in touch with your friends at NPR and Alt-Latino. Okay, enough of that. We're going to go to our guests now. And this is the point where I have to press the button and try to find our guests so you guys can quietly talk among yourself while I do this and call up the guests. Hold on one second. Okay, there's got to be a better way to do this without putting you all on hold. Okay, stand by. We're going to try that again. Okay, hold on one second. We're still trying to find the guests. All right, hold on one second. Talk amongst yourself. All right. Okay, let's see. Sorry about that. We are having some technical difficulties. Okay, let me try it again. Seriously, talk among yourself. We are looking for, and as usual, please, drop us a note. Where are you guys watching from? Okay? We really want to find out. And it's been very, very helpful to us to know where you guys are watching from and how many of you are watching. Okay, this is interesting. That's not coming up. So let's do this. Let's figure this out. Okay. Con Todo Netflix. Okay, here we go. Let's send it. Los Angeles, Wisconsin, Bogota.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very nice to see you. I'm good. We're trying to get your compañero Jason on the line, so we're still having problems trying to catch up to where he is. But for now, let me introduce you to the audience. This is Karrie Martin from Gentefied.
Hey, y'all.
And it's I'm still such a geek, such a movie geek and TV geek that it's always like interesting to see you outside of the character.
Yeah.
You know, it's it's still like, I'd like to check this out. Okay. We're trying to find Jason. Stand by one second, okay? I've asked the audience to speak among themselves while we try to make this happen.
Oh my gosh, there's somebody here from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
There you go. You
I
better
love
talk.
that.
Let's see, there on my block. Let's see if he's on my block thing. Let's see if that works. I hope that's right, because I don't know how to turn the video off if it doesn't work. There he is.
Hey, there he is.
All right. All right. Jason, welcome, man. Welcome both to Jason and Karrie.
Oh, thank you.
In a little bit. Okay. To get started, again, thank you both for joining us. And it looks like Jason's frozen a little bit, but hopefully that will come through. Karrie, first of all, tell us, where are we talking to you from? Where are you right now?
I am in Louisiana right now, Southern Louisiana. I live right outside of New Orleans.
Can hear a little bit of that in your voice.
Yeah, my little twang.
Okay, Jason is not, so we'll try it again. We'll keep it, this technology, man. When it works, it works. And when it doesn't, it doesn't. So we'll keep an eye out for him. While we're waiting for that, let's talk a little bit about you and your work. I'm really excited about these two interviews today, and I hope we can get Jason back online here. But I'm really excited because, I talked to a lot of artists, and a lot of artists, I guess, they've been around for a while. Nowadays, they're called legacy artists. I don't know if that's what that means, but this is exciting to talk to artists who are just getting started in their careers, and we're very interested to know a little bit more about your career and your goals and what you're doing now. But hold on one second. I'm going to try to. Let's try to invite again. Okay. But for now, let's talk a little bit about, like I said, the younger artists. You guys are just starting. Okay, you're back.
Back.
All right. Thank you. Okay, and just so for purposes, where are you speaking to us from?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Okay. All right. And then I want to remind all of our people who are watching. I want to remind you guys. Drop a note. Where are you guys calling from? Where are you guys watching from, rather? Where are you guys watching from? Because as you guys watch the messages, it's just mind-blowing because people are just watching from all over. And then also, if you have questions, put them in the comment section, and our producer, Ana Maria Sayer, will shoot me the questions. But for now, let's talk. Jason, I was just talking to Karrie about this. I've done a lot of interviews with people like Rita Moreno and, like people who've been around, like, icons, right? People that I respect and all that. But you guys are so young in your careers, just getting started. There's so much potential, and you're so talented. It's just amazing to me. So I wanted to talk to you both a little bit about, first of all, like, why did you want to become and then how did you get into the business? So let's start with you first, Karrie.
Okay. My gosh, I've spoken on this. It's probably so silly, but I'm such a book nerd, and I love the idea of storytelling. And college, I went to LSU. Go Tigers! We got a game tomorrow. And in college, I found the theater department, and I started going to plays, and I was like, this is a real thing. I can become this. I wanted to be a lawyer, then I wanted to be a nutritionist. I wanted to be a little bit of everything. And I was like, I should have figured out then that I wanted to be an actor where I can play and storytell and portray different people and different careers. And how I got into this business, I don't know, I guess like almost 10 years ago now. Just kind of left everything in Louisiana, went to Los Angeles, was super, super, super lucky to be able to get an agent and manager right away, because that is not very common. And one thing led to another, and I started working at a casting office. I worked for Betty May Casting. I helped cast Bad Boys for Life, Holiday, Promising Young Woman, things that I'm so honored to have met those incredible actors through and learn from them. And yeah, I think I learned a lot of secrets from behind the camera there, and I used what those other actors were doing in the room, and I took it to the room when I went to audition for Gentefied, and here we are now.
Wow. How about you? Why do you want to become an actor?
I just would watch so many movies and like be in my room. Like if I wasn't at my cousin's house, I didn't really like any sports or stuff, so I was just in my house watching movies. And so like I'd find myself repeating every line of a movie. And I guess that's like how I learned how to act, right? Like I'd watch a movie. If I thought they were good, I'd say it exactly how they said it. And if I thought they were bad, then I'd be like, wait, I can do this better. And I'd pause the movie, I'd like say the line like how I thought was better. So he's 12, like trying to say it better than like Will Smith or something like that.
Yeah, right. Right.
But yeah, so then I would try to go to acting schools, but like my parents wouldn't really let me because it was too far. And we only had one car, and they're like, I can't drive you, whatever. So then when I was in high school, I was like, now that I can do whatever I want on my own, let me just like, I researched the acting school in New York because I lived so close to New York. I was in Jersey City, so it was like a train ride, and the train was a 10-minute walk, and it was only 3 stops on the train. Or I could drive, and it was like a 10-15 drive, and I was in New York. So I Googled like cheapest acting school. I auditioned, I got in, and then the manager from my teacher's manager does like a scout every year, and I did a monologue for her, and she took me on as a client. And,
Well,
yeah.
so I think that what a lot of people don't understand, people who are outside of the business, is all the hard work involved to maintain what you do, but also to get there. I mean, you guys both you talk about it in an offhanded way, really, about, yeah, I copy the movies, I watch the thing, but, but it's a craft, it's an art, and it takes a lot of work to get to at least a level where you want to be able to compete, let alone rise above the pack, right? Can sometimes be, a luck of the draw, whatever. Talk a little bit about that hard work, right? Like, what was that? What did that involve for each one of you to perfect your craft, to get better?
I mean, I guess like Jason said, definitely acting classes. I started to take acting classes while I was in college off campus. The guy who was my acting teacher there is actually a series regular on SEAL Team now, which I love, like seeing people who find success for themselves as well. His name was Judd Lortmund. And then I went to an acting school in New Orleans after college, and I was like, I want to be an actor to my parents, after I put in all that hard work in college. And they were so incredibly and oddly supportive. But it's probably because my youngest sister wanted to be an actress too. So she was like, oh, here, like I kind of got to piggyback off of what she wanted to do too. But to be very transparent with you, it took me 7 years to book this series regular role. I did a few little, co-star roles, which were amazing and such a great opportunity to just be on set. But I think that the thing that really shifted for me 100% in my career was getting to be in the rooms and auditioning those pro actors, those seasoned actors through the casting world. That for me changed everything. And I still love that. I want to produce, I want to direct, and it's all because of that experience.
What about you? How did you what are your acting calisthenics? What did you get to do to
God,
you?
yeah, I'm not there yet. Like, I really want to, like, I don't know, but I really want to say that I'm just lucky. Like,
Sure.
I don't take the right train at the right time, signed up for the right class. I don't know, because it's all happened so quickly in my career where, like, I'm actually pretty nervous still on set. Where it's like, why is this all happening so suddenly? Because I don't feel like I'm properly prepared to perform the greatest version of what I know Jason could one day perform. So it's actually, I'm completely the opposite. I'm not fully immersed in my craft yet. Like, I try to get better every day, but I really I think like my fourth audition with my manager, I got the get down. And the first audition, I was so bad, I was like holding the paper in front of my face, like literally reading to the cat. He was like, thank you. And I was like, oh, okay, you're welcome. And yeah, so I just like, I don't know. And then like after the Get Down, like it was a couple auditions later, and I was still. Then I got like, Lawn, then Logan, and it all quickly. And I'm so grateful and thankful for that. But looking back, like I sort of wish it didn't happen so quickly, because I look back at these huge projects and I'm like, Jason, you weren't the best version of yourself that you could be. But I take that in now as like, hopefully I like learn from that and just try to get better and better, and hopefully progress in my career. That's all I'm really
say that just because it took me this long and it happened so much faster for you, I am like just now at my point of like, okay, here's my start. You know what I mean? So like, I totally feel that, where you're like, oh, I watched that back and you're like, man, I really wish I would have done a different take for that. Or like, even like stopped a beat. You know what I mean? Like I get so nervous too, because you're like, I can be better. And I think that's what's so beautiful about what we do is that like, you're never going to get that like peak of perfection. Like there's always going to be something to work on. Yeah. So I totally feel that.
Yeah, right. It's just
Those are good answers, man. That's inspiring that you guys are, you just want to get better and better. What about role models? Who were some of your role models in thing as you guys were, not as you're growing up, but now that you are in the craft, in the business, are there actors out there? Who are those actors that you look up to? It's like, wow, they make it look easy. They make it look artful. Who are this? Who are those people?
For me, I mean, I get to work with her, which is like legendary. America Ferrera, huge, like such an inspiration. Like, first of all, I was watching her before I even knew her. So getting to work with her and have that one-on-one time with her and learn from her is insane. But honestly, I have a serious girl crush on an actress, a British actress. She's young too. Her name is Florence Pugh. I don't know what it is with these Brits, but they come in here acting like they like were acting from the womb or something. It's like the work is so effortless. And then I mean, this is like my OG forever and ever. Jennifer Lopez can almost do no wrong. She can do it all. And she does it on her own terms, and I think that's what I love about her.
What about you, Jason?
Yeah, I like once I got into acting, which was really young, I'd be on my best actor of all time. And then like the list of like Meryl and Leo, and then like, Betty Davis and like all these older actors would pop up, and then I'd watch their movies, and and in my head, like the world has told me these are the greatest actors and these are the greatest performances. So I really like it cemented in my head that those were the role models that I should look up to. And so still to this day, like whenever I have a really tough scene, a really emotional scene, I watch like Meryl Streep with her little monologue in Sophie's Choice. Like gets to that point, right? Like it's so weird, but I like the world has cemented who the greatest actors are, right? But now growing up, like I look at all these other like indie projects, I'm like, yo, these people are really good. Nobody talks about them. But yeah, that's who I grew up on, because like the internet told me that's who I should grow up on. And so I watched all their movies. Like I watched every girl thing, every thing, every like I don't know who else. I grew up a lot on Marion Cotillard and Hugh Jackman, and then I got to work with him. Like yeah, I grew up on the people that the internet told me to grow up on.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
There's some movies. I'm just a movie geek. I would never have the skills to be an actor or anything, but I just love going to movies. Sitting in the dark watching movies. And in that scene you mentioned from Sophie's Choice, I can only see that movie once because it's so powerful, right? That whole thing. But that monologue she did, like it's cemented. Yeah, I feel you on that, bro.
And to like I know the whole thing from front to back. And it's
Yeah,
like, why do you know that?
because art. And it's like going to a museum and looking at all the great art of the world, right? It's the same.
It's like also going to class, you know, like that's it. So you watch that, and then like I say, like I say it, I try to say it the way she says it, in her cadence, in her tone, with her emotion, with her accent. That all like builds into like a performance. That's as much as class as, you know, going to an actual class.
Yeah. We want to continue. If you folks have questions, you know, put the questions in the comments, and asking uh, asking asking these two actors to marry you is not a question. Okay, I'm just gonna say it out. All right, I'm sure they appreciate it. That's not a question. Ask them about their work, about, you know, what they're doing. Okay. Um, you know, I just got out of a meeting where we were talking about representation. Okay. And we were talking specifically about representation in the news media and how the lack of or having representation there affects, you know, information coming out. And I want to ask you a little bit about that in the television or in the acting world. And the first question is like, was there ever a role or was there ever a character that you watched on the screen, either in television or on the movies, where you looked at the character and said, that's me, or that's my mom, or that's my tío? You know, was there ever a character that made you like realize that your representation, your something about you represented on the screen?
I mean, I guess the closest thing for me, um, like I said, I watched America growing up. So Sister to the Traveling Pants, I'm like a huge book nerd as well. So I had read those books before they even came to life. And for her to be represented in that way, you know, as a young girl at that time, that was so huge for me. Or, you know, Salma Hayek in Fools Rush In. But you ask that, and you know what I think is causes me to like take a step back is that like I don't think I really saw that growing up. It was something that I was just like, oh, I wish I could do this, or I didn't even think I could do this because I didn't see it growing up. Now it's starting, you know, like hopefully young kids look at Jason and I and the shows that we're on and are like, wow, we can do this. We can aspire to these, to dream that big, right? Because my sisters and I would always laugh. We're like, we thought they were like the chosen ones, these people on TV, because they didn't look like. But so, you know, I guess those two movies were, I think, the first time that I saw somebody who looked like me. Yeah.
And just for the record of my research, Karrie, you're of Honduran background, correct?
I am, yeah. So they weren't even Honduran. You know what I mean? Right. It was, well, America's Honduran, but Salma isn't. And so that was like really exciting too. Like, you know, when you kind of like start creeping on these people, you're like, let me go Wikipedia them and Google them. Like, where are they from? And stuff like that. So that's so beautiful. But Honduran actors aren't, you know, you don't really see them that much out there as well. But yeah, I obviously the industry is very slowly changing, but thankfully it is making changes to be more diverse and to show the world as it actually looks.
What about you, Jason? Anybody, any moment, any aha moments like that to me?
No.
that
No, because I grew up on those really big movies, like the artsy, like, you know, the Hugh Jackman movies and the Meryl movies. Like, that's not even, there's nothing of that, right? So like me like wanting to be an actor wasn't so much because I wanted to see people like me on screen. It's because I wanted to like create a performance like they did. And then as I got older, I realized like when I got a manager, she started sending me breakdowns. You start realizing like how much it kind of sucks compared to like all the other breakdowns you see coming out. I was like, oh damn, I don't want to do this. This looks whack, you know? But so yeah, it was more so just taking a chance on wanting to emulate a performance. And as you get in the industry, you realize that like you're not really gonna do that, especially in the type of movies that I like aim to do. Now like my mind isn't there where like I have to do that type of movie to be a good actor. But yeah, they were that growing up.
And you were talking about the auditions being whack. For me, it was like they always, the idea in the industry, at least a few years ago, it was just like, you have to have a Mexican accent that equals Spanish. And I was like, a Mexican accent. I was like, I'm going to like sound campy and what is going on? And I did not realize that that's how this industry was. It really just like boxes you into a type. And that was super frustrating. So when I went in for Gentefied, they were like, no, just be you. I was like, are you sure? I was like, Anna doesn't need a little bit more of something. And they were like, no, that's enough. That was like crazy to me because you start to get in your head about it.
Every interview I do, or like every chance that I can, like I let people know that I'm Dominican, because every breakdown I've ever gotten has either been Mexican or Puerto Rican. I'm like, and when they're like, can you speak Spanish? I'm like, yeah, I can speak Spanish, like in the breakdown, but like it's my Spanish, you know? So like they are like, I did do this project where it was Mexican, and they were like, I would say certain words and they'd be like, wait, this is how you say it, like in a Mexican, you know?
Yeah. No. I feel you, man. We're getting questions, and some of them relate to what you guys just talked about. One of the questions is, what's your favorite thing about your characters that you're playing now?
Go for it. Go.
Oh, my about Ruby, as an actor, is just that I get to be so over the top, but like try to find that line of like not, you know, campy, not like where it's like, oh my god, this show is so cheesy. But then at the same time, like Ruby has this crazy confidence where it's like, what is he gonna want to do in this episode? Because I know he's always gonna want to strive for some insane thing. But yeah, like it's the confidence of the actual character, and then the over the top dramaticness in the acting for me.
So I would agree. Anna is so unapologetically herself, and is really going through life with, I am who I am, accept me or don't, but don't define me because I'm more than this label. But with that, I think I love this character because I am completely opposite from her. So to actually get to dive in and step into somebody else's shoes and truly learn and honor who they are was awesome. Like I was just like, oh yeah, I always step outside the box, but she forced me to really step outside of my comfort zone.
There's another question here. What's the most difficult scene that you filmed, either in your current work or anything in the past? If you had something that really is like, this is very tough.
I would definitely say for me, it was anything in Logan, because again, it was like my second project, and I was like, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just like, you know, like I was an actor, but I was like, whoa, like I was just thrown into the same space as Hugh Jackman and the Marvel world. I was like, this is too much for me to like look back and be like, yeah, Jason, you nailed it. You know, like that was everything in there. Like I tried out of my performance, but like every day that I was on set, I was like, oh my God, like nobody could talk to me because every second I was like reading my lines, even though I had like 5. That'd be like, oh my.
That's amazing. Oh my God, I love that story. I think Gentefied is currently on my mind. But the most difficult scene that okay, so I'm going to tell you from season 1 because I cannot even spoil season 2 for y'all right now. But season 2, there's like an episode that we're like emotional the entire time. But in season 1, I think the breakup scene with Jessica, we did it enough, like, you know, you have to do a certain amount of takes, but we did it enough to where like the director was like, okay, it's over, girls, it's over. Like, I'm not going to do this again, because I think we cried from like the first word that we said to the very last one when they were like, okay, cut. Just because it was hard and we really felt it and we felt really safe with each other. So that scene was really hard for sure.
You know, these interviews are just, you know, they're very short. The Instagram Live interviews are very short. You know, it's just a chance to get to know the people that we're interviewing. It's usually musicians, But like I said, this time we're doing actors because it is an art form, and we like to recognize the work of Latino and Latina actors and artists of all stripes. So we want to thank you both for taking time to do this. And I got to say, you know, as I lost my light, so I look like I'm like Bela Lugosi or something, man. It's a ooh, it's like Christmas, like Halloween. But I got to say, as like as a movie fan, you guys give me so much hope. You guys give me so much to look forward to because you're obviously very talented and you're the tip of the iceberg, right? These streaming services are probably leading the way. You know, the streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, like they're the ones leading the way, putting characters out there. The Reservation Dogs is out there on Hulu, right? They're leading the way and showing the world of who we are, right? And how and in a way that Hollywood has not been able to do, and some of the other, you know, I'm giving my opinion now as a movie geek. So mad respect to you guys and the people running these shows and the people that chose you for these shows. Mad respect because, like I said, you're so young, and I just look forward to whatever you're doing now and whatever you're going to do next, because it's something that we all look forward to. Like I talked about seeing if you saw anybody like yourself, I still do that. I go to movies, I turn on the television. I need to see somebody like myself. And that's you two right now. So thank you so much for doing this. This has really been like such a joy to meet you guys. And I hope we can see each other sometime. But I'll see you on the screen. I'll be watching. All right?
Thanks so much.
Bye. Bye, kid.
Thank you.
Bye.
And then before we go, I want to remind everybody from spooky Halloween land. I just want to remind everybody to watch our Tiny Desk concerts. We have I think there's like 4 more left. We've had a bunch of them so far. Write into us, tell us what you think about them, and keep an eye out for the podcast. We've got a lot of stuff going on, and we'll do another Instagram live interview in a week or so. So stay tuned. Lots of stuff. Engage. Let us know what's going on and what you guys think about it. Okay. You guys take care. What's that?
I was plugging on my block, October 4th.
Oh yeah, November 10th.
There you go. That's what I needed to do. Thank you so much for doing that, man. That was on the top of the list, and I forgot to do it, man. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. And thanks, everybody, for watching and listening. You guys take care. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.